All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the webinar today. My name is Sarvesh, and I'm a product marketer with Zoho Campaigns. And we'll get the webinar started straight away. In case of any feedback, feel free to send me an email at sarvesh.ck@zohocorp.com. You can also send me a tweet. My Twitter handle is @sarveshck. So anyway, we'll get started. On the agenda today, we'll talk about everything that is new about the Zoho campaigns. Clearly, the UI is refreshing and completely revamped. Then we'll talk about what is new in our email campaigns. Then we'll go to reports, automation, subscribers, library, and finally, managing your campaigns account. So let's get started. So this is the first screen you see as soon as you log in to your campaigns account, which is the dashboard, and it looks completely different from what it looked like before. And what it aims to do is to show you as much data as it can in a limited space and make things a lot easier than they were previously. So, for instance, on the dashboard right now, I can see the reports of any campaign that I want to. I can just scroll through, click one of the campaigns, and I can just go to the reports immediately. In fact, all of this is customizable. I can just click this little button right here and I can decide what I want to see on the dashboard. And organizing this is as easy as just dragging and dropping things. And in case you feel like there is not enough space on the dashboard, you can always avail another page of your dashboard. So the idea is to make things a lot simpler and to help you navigate through everything in far lesser number of steps than before. Another thing, if you've noticed, we've moved all the tabs to the left instead of the top as it was before. So settings has come right down to the bottom, and everything else is arranged right here, from campaigns to subscribers, automation, library, reports, and so on. We don't have contacts anymore. We have changed contacts to subscribers instead. So don't worry about that. Instead of referring to them as contacts, we call them subscribers now. And if you notice, there's one little additional thing right at the bottom called My Shortcuts, which has folders and favorites. Folders help you organize everything together. For instance, if you have uh, an event coming up, like a trade fair or something, and you're sending out email campaigns for that event, then you can associate all the email campaigns, your templates, your mailing lists, the autoresponders and workflows you used for that particular campaign or those successive campaigns can all be associated with just one folder. Along the course of this webinar, I will also show you how to do that. Although you can just directly just click this little button here and create campaigns or mailing lists and associate them straight away with the folder. Then we also have favorites, which help you access whatever page you want to with just one click. And that as well, I will be demonstrating over the course of this webinar. We'll get started with first things first, the email campaigns. So right on left, you can find the campaigns tab, under which we have regular campaigns, social campaigns, and advanced campaigns. And you can still find a list view or grid view, so that remains. But the new part comes in inside what happens when you send an email campaign. So for instance, just let's say event invites. Hello there, and click next. Here I can pick uh, any templates that I want to. We've added a lot of templates now in the pre-designed templates, or as per your requirement. We've added way too many templates, so feel free to check all of them out. I'm going to use one of these right now. And this is where it gets really interesting. We've reworked the entire template editor, and So everything has become far more simpler than it was before. So you can find all the elements on the left, and everything comes down to just dragging and dropping the elements that you need. So for instance, if I had to insert a text box into this email, I can just click text. I can decide what kind of text I want and just drag it and drop it right here. And all the contents of these elements can be edited right here on top. So I can set the font size, and I can format the font and so on. If you notice, apart from all of these, we also have advanced components on the left, clicking which you see these four options. So what we've done is we've made adding social widgets extremely easy. You don't have to manually upload an icon and associate a URL with it or anything. You can just click widgets and you can decide how you want the widgets to be displayed. So let's say I choose this and I put it somewhere here. I can decide what widgets I want to show in my email. So let's say I want Google Plus and Pinterest as well, and let's say I want to use Tumblr too, and Google Plus, Pinterest, um, and Tumblr. And I can decide whether I want it to be at the left of my emails, right at the middle, or at the right. And I can choose whether I want just the icon, in which case it displays like this, or if I want it with the text. And once I click finish, it appears right here like this. So if you notice, it is aligned to the right just like I set it, and it has both the icon and the name of it, and you don't have to associate URLs because you've already done that. So it makes adding social widgets to your emails extremely simple. Another thing right here is dynamic content, which is something I really want to talk about. So once you click dynamic content, it gives you options for a text box, an image, or a combination of image and text, or a button, and so on. And what it does is you can decide is what content you want to display to who based on the information that they've provided. So for instance, if I have a set of customers living in Europe and a set of customers in the US or something, and I know that their preferences might not be the same, so I can send them varying content based on where they are from. Or maybe let's say I want to give out invites for people who are interested only in trade fair. For them, I want to include a little link for registration within my email, and for everyone else, I don't want it to appear. Then I can always use dynamic content, and this as well is as easy as just dragging and dropping. So let's say I drag and drop this text box right here, and if their email contains Zilker, then I want them to see my content. So if I have set up my email like this, the next time I send an email, only people whose email addresses contain the term Zilker will be able to see this little text box and the text that goes with it. Everyone else will only get the email without that text. Apart from this, uh, we've also brought in attachments to email campaigns. And You can choose whether you want it to appear as a button that they can click to download the attachment, or as an image, or you can even pick what kind of button and so on. So let's say I drag and drop this one, then I can add documents from my computer, or I can import it from my cloud. So let's say I add this PDF right here. So for instance, if I have an offer that expires soon and I want them to, grab hold of a voucher or something, then I can always set an expiry date on that. So for instance, if I have to, let's say, beginning of the year sale that expires on the 15th of January, I can always set that here. And then I can also set the exact time at which that attachment will expire. So people who access the email after that will not be able to download that attachment. And so now you can see that there is a small button right here, and before the expiry date and expiry time, if people receive the email and click the button, they will be able to download the attachment that you're sending with your email campaign. This is also really useful in case you want to send comprehensive reports, where you can just put it into a document and attach it with your email campaigns. One more thing right here that would really help your emails is the concept of vcard, which is a merge tag, and so you can find it. So the way to use it is you add text and you hyperlink the merge tag to that text. And what it does is that it automatically generates a really small file that contains your content information. So when your recipient receives your email and clicks it and downloads the attachment, then you get added to their contact list, which means every time you send an email, it'll land straight into their inbox. You don't need to manually attach a file for this to happen. If you just include the vcard merge tag, then when you send an email, automatically your contact information will be attached to it as a small file that they can download and hence add to their list. So let's say I have this text box. um, let's say I add another one where is there, click here for your attachment. What I need to do to use the merge tag is that I hyperlink the word to the merge tag. The merge tag, you can find it right here, right at the bottom. There's the vcard merge tag. Once you click it, you get the merge tag, and you can hyperlink it to any text. So if you can see, the word here has been hyperlinked, and I don't need to attach a file, but if I send an email as it is, once they receive the email, they can just click this particular space of the email, and automatically they will be able to download an attachment, and the next time I send them an email, it'll end up in their inbox because I'm now part of their contacts. When it comes to email campaigns and template editors, another really important tool is the image editor. So in case you've used any images in your emails, you can always just click on them and you'll see the option to change or edit. And once you click edit, we have way too many options that allow you to do that. So you can add effects, you can add frames or stickers, or you can just modify the image however you want to. And once you click save, you can see that it immediately reflects upon your email as well. If you've noticed, there is a small clock right here, and if you click that, you'll be able to see different versions of your email based on the changes that you've made. Uh, so here, this is the one after you've added text. This is the one when you just added widgets. This is after you added the first text box right here, and you can decide which version you want to use. And once you've decided upon the best looking version, just click save and proceed. And you can go ahead just like a regular campaign. Of course, you can add a pre-header to your emails now very easily. With just a click, you can add a short preview for your email. And once you're done with that, you click next. You decide what recipients to pick, which is again extremely simple, because you can just decide with a click who you want to send it to or who you don't want to send it to. And you'll reach the screen where again you can schedule it or send it immediately, where it'll go for a review, and just like a normal email campaign, it'll get sent after that. And once you sent your email campaign, you can go to reports to check the report of the campaigns that you've sent so far. So if you click send campaigns, there'll be a list of all the campaigns that you've sent so far. And you can see how well the campaign is performing. If you notice, uh, there is the option to send a follow-up to your campaign right from reports. And once you click that, you can even decide what sort of a follow-up you want it to be. You can send it to people who've opened your previous campaign or who haven't opened your previous campaign. You can send it based on opened emails or unopened emails, so on and so forth. So you can set it up right from reports. You can set up your successive campaigns or even your successive emails right from reports by clicking follow. In fact, if you notice, once you click reports, we have two other options where you can view campaign based reports to see how well your campaign is doing, or you can also view list based reports where it comes down to how well a particular list or subscribers are responding to your campaigns, and you can segment them based on people who opened your emails, who've never opened your emails, people who've not opened your emails recently, and so on. So essentially, all the new features together work to make sending an email campaign or sending follow-up campaigns far more easier than it used to be before. Now that you've sent your first email campaign on the new Zoho campaigns and you've checked out the reports, you can try automating all of the process. And under automation again, uh, we have autoresponders and workflow as before, but we've added two new kinds of autoresponders. So if you create an autoresponder from here, you'll be able to see that we have 7 different kinds of autoresponders now, as opposed to the 5 that we had before. So we have sign up based autoresponders, which every time someone joins your list, they get an email automatically. Then we have date field based autoresponders, where when your subscriber enters a date, let's say their date of birth, then you can automate an email that gets sent on that particular date. For instance, a birthday wish. A closed group autoresponder is one where you have a set of people who you want to send an email to, and you don't want anyone else being added to that group. So, for instance, let's say I'm planning an event and I send out invites, and only those who respond to the invite will get an email from me. So, those who respond get added to a closed group and who will attend the event, and then I send them the agenda, the venue, and so on and so forth. And for that purpose, I can use the closed group autoresponder. Then we have the calendar based autoresponder, in which case you can specify what date you want to send an email on. So, Christmas wishes, New Year wishes, so on and so forth. Then we have the email action based autoresponders. So you can automate an email based on whether or not a person has opened your email or not opened your email, or click the link on it. So based on all of those activities, you can trigger an email and you can automate it using email action based autoresponders. The other two we have are smart series and cyclic. Cyclic is a little easier because what you do is you automate a series of emails, and you also set the time period at which you want to trigger each email. So you can set it as once a month or once a week, after every 2 days, so on and so forth. And then we have smart series based autoresponders. What smart series does is, instead of sending an email campaign from the very beginning every time someone signs up, so for instance, let's say I sent out monthly promotional newsletters. Every time someone signs up, I don't want to send them a newsletter beginning from January all over again. Instead, what I do is I set up a smart series autoresponder. So even if a person joins in March or April, they start getting a newsletter from that point onwards only, as opposed to starting a campaign all over again. Then we go to workflows, and even in workflows, we made it very, very, very easy, because once you click create workflow, if you notice, we've split it into three different categories. The first one is a workflow that just triggers instantly and is put into motion as soon as you create it. And the second one is time based, where you can set a specific date and time at which the workflow starts processing, or it can be periodic, where it can, you can set what time period you want it to be, and based on that frequency, the workflow will trigger itself. Then there's a third one, which is activity based, which will trigger based on your subscribers activity. So it can be any activity that you associate with them. For instance, filling up a sign up form, clicking on an email, or opening an email, and so on. And once they do that, you can associate a specific action with them. So if you notice, there's a little option here that says add score. So for this, we'll go back to subscribers for a moment. So once you click on subscribers, you see that we made it a lot more easy for you to add subscribers into your campaigns account through sign up forms and sync services. And one other thing that we've added is subscriber scoring. So this allows you to gauge how well any subscriber is interacting with you, or how well they, respond to your campaigns, and so on. So you can assign specific scores for specific activities, and based on that, you can have, a total score. So for a unique open, for a multiple open, for a unique click, so on and so forth. And based on that, you can assign them specific scores, and based on the scores, you can gauge how well they're engaging. And this is the exact subscriber scoring that I was talking about in workflows as well. So these scores can be, added based on their activity that is being performed in a workflow as well. And like I said, we have sign up forms right here in the subscribers tab. So once you click that, it's still the same. You see a list of sign up forms, but we've made creating a sign up form a lot easier, and you have a lot more to choose from. So you can choose any of the compact templates that we have, or long form templates that we have, or you can, take one from the library. Pick a form from the library. We'll get to the library in a couple of moments, but let's say I pick a compact form for now. Under compact forms, again, you have way too many templates that we already have. You can pick vertical forms, you can pick horizontal forms, um, or it can even be long forms. So let's say I quickly just pick one of these, and it opens up something that is very similar to the template editor that we've seen. So you can map the name field to the last name, or you can map it to the first name. Um, you can customize all of this. You can change this. You can change the color and play around with all the components right here with the options you have at top. Once you're done, you click save and proceed, and these are the options it provides you with. So once someone fills a sign up form, you can either send them to a thank you page, or you can redirect them to a specific URL that you have for another page that you have. You send a confirmation email automatically. So this makes double opt-in extremely easy. People tend to think of it as a bit of a hassle. Not at all, because once you have a sign up form set up, the confirmation email will automatically be sent to whoever fills up the form. And once they click the confirm subscription, you can choose whether you want to redirect them to a thank you page, or again a specific URL that you have, um, for another web page or landing page that you might have. In fact, it also allows people to resubscribe. So every time someone resubscribes to your email campaigns by filling up sign up forms, there is a separate email that will go out to that person. And once you've created a sign up form, you can associate it with one of the mailing lists, just like before. And now you have the various options to publish the form, the response setup, where it summarizes the way your sign up form and the entire system behaves. So anyone, be it new subscribers or existing subscribers, when they submit their data through the form, they will be directed to the thank you page in a new window. They will also receive a confirmation email, and once they click confirm in the email, they will be redirected to a thank you page for confirmation. And if they resubscribe, they will receive a resubscribe confirmation email as well. So, as I was saying, that we will talk about favorites and folders as well. But before that, we have the library here, which is sort of like a summary of everything that we've seen so far. So when you're sending out an email campaign, you tend to use specific templates or images, or sign up forms for a particular email campaign, and you can group all of them together within the library. And within the library, you can either pick the templates that you previously used, you can edit it to use it for a different campaign, you can import it from elsewhere, or you can pick it for a campaign straight away. Coming back to folders and favorites, like I said, every time you create an email campaign, you always have the option of associating it with a specific folder straight away. And in case uh, you've created a campaign already and you sent it out, don't worry about that either, because any of the existing email campaigns can also be moved to a specific folder. Speaking of favorites, if you've noticed, on every window we have a little option here that says favorite this with a little heart. And once you click the heart, it asks you for a specific name for the page. Let's say I say regular campaigns. And let's say I want to save the reports of a specific campaign. and I want to favorite that as well. So instead of navigating all through this process, um, let's say I want to favorite this, then I just click and give it a little name. So what it does is the next time I go to favorites, you can see that I have all of this just one click away. So it doesn't matter what window I'm on, I could be on the dashboard as well. I just need to click favorites and I can immediately go to the page straight away. Now let's talk a little bit about managing your campaigns account. And right at the bottom, we have the settings option, which of course has the option for you to view your own plan, your profile, your company's profile, and so on. But we also have this thing called manage users. And once you click that, you see this little list of users, and you can set specific titles and roles to people who are using the same campaigns account. So you can be an admin or a standard user, and based on your role you can set specific privileges for that user, and you can choose what aspect of campaigns you want to allow them to access and use and so on. So for instance, if my team has a marketer and a designer, then the marketer would be able to access all the email campaigns and the content in it, and the designer would be able to access all the images, the templates, and so on. In fact, you can customize all the roles and privileges as per your need, which makes things a lot more easier and a lot more sophisticated. Another thing that I want to talk about is the campaign policy option available under settings right here, where you can set uh, a weekly limit or a monthly limit or even an interval between emails so that you can regularize the frequency with which you send emails or email campaigns. So you can decide to set a specific number of campaigns that can be sent every week, or a specific number of emails that can be sent every week or every month, or you can even specify the time period between two emails. Another thing we have right here is content approval. So what it does is every time someone creates an email campaign, there is an internal approval system, as in you can circulate that campaign or send it to a specific person who will approve the campaign, and then you can send it out for a review and it reaches your recipient. What it does is, one, it refines all of your campaigns further, where let's say the administrator can take a look at all of your campaigns before that person sends it out, and it also reduces the margin for human error. Amongst all the new features that we've been talking about, there is just one more thing that I would want to add to all of this. If you've noticed, under settings, we have webhooks right at the end. What webhooks do is they help you establish uh, a real-time synchronization between your campaigns account and another. Let's say you have another database that logs information about your subscribers or your campaigns. Then there is a real-time sync that happens between the two. So you can set up, let's say, a subscriber webhook. So when you do that, when you create a subscriber webhook, you give it a name, you give it, the URL for your database, and you decide what you want to map. And every time you add a subscriber to your mailing list, it automatically reflects on the other database as well. And every time you add a user to that platform, you can choose for it to be reflected in your campaigns account as well, and likewise with campaign webhook as well. And once you have set up a webhook, uh, you can just go to one of the subscribers lists that you have, and you will find an option right here that says webhooks, and you can click that and associate a specific webhook that you've created with this mailing list. So the next time you add someone to your records, it will immediately reflect in this mailing list as well. That's pretty much all we have time for today. In case you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We will be here answering all of your questions. Send an email to support@zohocampaigns.com, or you can send an email to me, or you can send me a tweet uh, at my Twitter handle. So, thank you very much for attending the webinar.